Today, we want to talk about friendship. But before we do that, there's a common denominator among the three of us. We all studied journalism and mass communication at the University of Boya. So we are all Enos children, huh?
JMC stars.
JMC stars.
I know.
We all are.
Stars.
Yes.
Children from Fortabe.
Yes, Fortabe village. I've never been to Fortabe, but Eno took us to Fortabe and back. So we can start claiming that.
To Fortabe. We found our luck in Fortabe.
That's right. Wonder girls and boys.
Wonder boy, wonder girls.
The thing about that department is you don't have to have been my classmate to relate. Gloria and I were classmates. Dorothy were behind us, but we share the same experiences, the same stories because of how the professors, the doctors, the teachers, the lecturers raised us. I say raised because we were their children. They treated us like children. They knew you in school and away from school. Remember one time Josh was like, so when your father died, I go, my father, how did you know my father died? I didn't tell you anything. He's like, oh, we know.
Yes.
He was checking on me. I'm like, oh, okay. So I really am proud to have gone through that department. What's your fondest memory about JMC? Let me start with you, Dora.
God, there's so many. I think my fondest memory, if I have to say, my fondest memory is actually meeting Eno Tanjong years after graduating from journalism and mass communications. I was in Cameroon the year before he passed. I think that was, I cannot recall what year it was, but it was 1 year before he passed. And, you know, he'd been sick, he had had a stroke, but he was recovering, he was on the mend. You know, I went to Cameroon and I went to Yaoundé to see him. So he was working in Yaoundé and we talked and he said, Dorothy, he didn't even call me Dorothy, that's a lie. Fortune, if you are coming to Cameroon, you will meet me in Yaoundé. And went to Yaoundé to meet him. And I swear, I sat there basking in the presence of this great man, but also relishing memories from the past. You know, it was just like a walk through memory lane, but at the same time being present, you know, and I had a couple of my classmates who joined me for dinner with Eno, and it was so memorable. But if we have to talk about JMC, mind you, I wasn't one of Eno's best. You know, I was one of those kids in class who got onto, like, I was riding on Eno's nerves. You know, the kids who ride on teachers' nerves, that was me. Oh. And yes.
But you ended up on his good books because he had told you to write, was it his biography?
Yes, his biography. Yes. His biography. And he told me why he was always on my case. You know, he was like, you're one of the most intelligent and he one of the
potential. Yeah.
Yeah, he always potential. And he said, and you're just wasting your potential. You don't need to be too serious, but you need to be a tad serious, just a little bit photo. And you know, when I left JMC and I was traveling to Germany, and I had to get into my master's program, and I needed a recommendation letter, and Eno wrote a recommendation letter for me. I still read that recommendation letter and cry and weep. Like, this guy, he wrote a recommendation letter for me that I don't think I have ever had such a sentimental, compassionate recommendation letter. Come to think of it, I need to frame it. I think I need to frame it and hang it up somewhere.
I know you can go on and on about Eno. I mean, I like the fact that you're smiling because he is of late. I mean, he's so rest in peace. But you're smiling because of the way that he treated you, of the beautiful memories that he left behind. What about you, Gloria? Abaka. I like to call you Abaka.
I know. That's how he called me too.
He called me
Abaka. So, I mean, so many. But recently, I was going through my emails. You know how you go through to try to delete like old emails. I saw one of the last emails he sent me. asking about my family, the children, how are the children doing? He was always reaching out. But if we're talking about the fondest memory in class, it's the first day I showed up in class.
Yeah.
So I actually, maybe them had started before me because I was still trying to figure out how to pay my school fees. So I came in when that already started. So they already knew and know. So mind you, I just walk into class. I was just late. Coming from what's that boy, a town where you pay your fee, right?
Yeah.
And you come in and I walk in and I'm trying to just find a place to sit. He's like, you, what's your name? Oh my God. And I'm just every eye was on me. And I'm not that person that wants to be out there. Like I am so like I'm trying to talk when my voice is not even coming out, I'm just trying to say Gloria. I say, Gloria, who? I'm like, and then immediately I said my name. He said, you are the class delegate. I'm like, what does that mean? That's how I don't think people knew that is how I ended up being the class delegate.
Class delegate. Yeah, I remember that day so well.
I just walked into class. That's how he called. Just said, you are the class delegate. I'm like, what's the class? Like, I don't even know. I'm just going to see right now. And I just found my place. Before I knew, though, he kept on. And then years later, he told me that when he saw me right away, he knew that I could be something that could do something. And I'm like, me, I don't have any leadership skills. I had never led anything. I didn't know how to do. I felt every time I went up to, and Mabel knows that, like I would be shaking, my voice would be shaking, my head, like my whole body would be sweating, literally. But so anything that I do today in leadership, I lead a lot of things these days. And I really attribute that to Eno. He could see potential.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
That's really good. And Gloria graduated top of our class, so Eno was not wrong in just picking you out. Shout out to Ruth Lange, who is online saying hello to the J Stars who are talking here today. For me, I think my fondest memory about Eno was when I had an internship at P&T where I met Dorothy for the first time. For some reason, my internship letter got to Eno's house. And I don't know without cell phones how Eno got to me. And I went to Boya to his house and he gave it to me. And that was the day Eno blessed me. Eno said, how did you get this? I said, I just applied. He showered blessings on me that day. I cannot forget. I cannot forget. And who was this tall black classmate of ours? I think she's in Maryland now. She took me to Eno's house and I wasn't feeling well. And she held my hand. I was going down the steps gently. But Eno prayed for me and told me I'll do well. And that takes me on to how we met. So I went to P&T to start my internship. I met Dorothy, who welcomed me. I had no idea she was a JMC student. And Dorothy said, oh yeah, come, welcome. Let me show you where you sit, She introduced me to places and all that. And by the time the day was ending, we went to her apartment. Was it Bokwango or somewhere up?
Yeah, somewhere around.
Yes,
I think it's
she took me to her apartment. Supermarket area. Sat down, ate, put, back then DVD now, watch movie, ate. That was the first day I met Dorothy.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it has been consistent friendship till today. Fast forward, when I had my first job at Ocean City Radio, working for a couple of months, who showed up? Dorothy. I welcomed her the way she had welcomed me years earlier. We were so excited. And then we rented a house together. We became roommates, in one house. We had our rooms and then we went to an apartment, the same apartment complex. And then the rest is history. I think the friendship has lasted that long. And Dorothy, you have not changed. You've been consistent. You're that one friend who's an open book. And
thank you.
Yes, you put your vulnerability out there to your friends. And for Gloria, we met at school. Like she said, she came to UB after we had already started. I remember that day so well when Eno was making you the class delegate. You had a skirt that was a little bit flared. And
God,
I cannot believe it. Oh no. You remember that?
I
do. And you stood there, you had your back so confused. But you and I began talking in George's class 205. And for some reason, we sat down to take a test together and George said, write short notes, CNN, BBC. Remember that first class? I'm like, what are you going to write here? So we started together, we're confused, but we wrote it. And from there, we walked out of class and we just started walking out together and just talking. And it's been so long. And I am so blessed to have met both of you separately, but the friendship has lasted Fast forward, Gloria came to America and reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to play DV lottery? I said, that's your man play. I'm saying, no, just try, you know. I'm like, okay, I will. And then I delayed until Doro at the radio when I went to South Africa for a short trip. Gloria had reached out to me and I said, Gloria, I will come back, you know, I'll get back to you. I came back and I just said, Marinos, remember Marinos? Scan this picture, send them for the email. So he scanned and sent to my email. I sent it to Gloria. Gloria played DV and I won.
That's
What
amazing.
is
God is
friendship?
good.
What is friendship? This is how I see my friendship with both of you. From day one, you welcome me with open hands. Dora and I became roommates, became co-workers. Gloria, if I'm here today, even hosting these talk shows, because you use your hands and say, hey, this girl knew my information, my date of birth. Or I didn't even ask, she didn't even ask, she had it all. She was my friend. I just had to send a picture. And that was my first time playing the DV. You know, so if you don't have a friend who cares about you, when they go abroad, Dora, she was a student. But she played the DV for me and I came to America with a green card. While she is a student, it takes a friend who loves you to do that for you. It takes a friend who is selfless to do that for you. So today I want us to talk about friendship. And as we do so, thank you for those who are online. Bomb Constantine. Oh my God, it's an NO student, Ruth Lange.
I know.
We miss NO so much. So